Welcome. What a wonderful day. Congratulations, families, especially on this moment, whether students are finishing 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grade on the end of their high school journey. Congratulations and welcome. Today, we're going to welcome the students in just a moment. But first, I wanted to give you kind of an overview of the ceremony. We will start with our quality ceremony for the 9th through 11th graders, and then we'll have a slideshow of the year, and in particular, a section of it is dedicated to our graduating seniors, and I hope you enjoy seeing their journey. That includes more than just this year of high school. And then we'll end with our graduation for 4 of our seniors, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome the students of Living Wisdom High School. Let's go ahead and start our evening today with a prayer together. You can either pray in the words of your own heart or repeat responsively after me. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, friend, beloved God, saints and sages of all religions, bless this day, this occasion, with joy, with celebration, with recognition of victory. Bless all of these students. And especially these graduates. That their lives be filled. With the finest qualities. With the sweetest relationships. And with successes that are enduring. Both outward and inward. Om, peace. Amen. So a lot has happened this year, and I wanted to start by just offering recognition of both the events, but also the spirit with which we've proceeded through the last months. I think oftentimes, and perhaps for many of us, there are different motivations that we live with as we make decisions and go through our days, and sometimes we respond to life out of a desire to avoid things that we fear, or out of the pursuit of external validations and forms of success. And sometimes we're motivated by something that is deeper and more sincerely our own, which is that we are inspired from the inside out to take action and to engage in life in a dynamic way because we know that it will be, in fact, rewarding and fulfilling for its own self, for its own sake. And this year, there have been a lot of successes and a lot of activities that have borne fruit, not so much only in the outward manifestation of what our students and team have done, but in the inner qualities that have awakened because of those activities. And I wanted to share with you some of what those are, because there's a lot that happens throughout a day and a year in the life of a high school student. And I think oftentimes, tell me if I'm wrong, families, but when your teens come home and you say, "How was your day?" they say, or "Fine." And that's about all you get. And so this is just a tiny window into the kinds of experiences that have happened and the things that we've done together and individually and by no means is it a comprehensive list. So this year we began with a trek through the backcountry of Yosemite, many students completing more than 17 miles in a single day for the first time. It was a valiant adventure filled with incredible views and a lot of shared support and transformation. Many of our students took on both high school and college classes, and we had students dive into areas such as mechanics and finance, biology, ceramics, and a number of world languages, including Hindi and Russian. We had a student sing at Carnegie Hall. We had another compete in regionals in her gymnastics pursuits. We have another who is engaged in Education for Life teacher training. Our powerlifting team trains either twice a week or for many of them 4 times a week, mornings before school and afternoons as well. And 3 of them competed at nationals in Texas in March. A lot of our students this year found inspiration through the art of photography, which has been a delightful theme, and you'll see some of it featured in the slideshow later today. But I've watched both the skill of students and their ability to capture moments, and also the connection that's been born of that practice really grow throughout the year, and it's enriched all of our experience on and off campus. We've had a number of students who placed in the 99th percentile nationally on the PSAT this year, and one who scored a perfect score on the PSAT, which is quite rare. And what's noteworthy about that is that we're not a school that, though we train very rigorously academically, we're not test prep oriented as our primary focus. And so when these things bear fruit in and of themselves, it's something to celebrate. Earlier this year, Keshava was married to Anisha, and behind the scenes leading up to the wedding, there was a group of students and alumni who secretly came together with a tiny bit of support from teachers, but not much, to put together a musical performance. And again, just the sweetness of that shared effort really came through and hopefully touched the lives of those for whom it was intended. This spring, and actually all throughout the year leading up to this spring, students were engaged in a lot of different creative entrepreneurial pursuits because they set the intention for themselves that they wanted to do an extraordinary trip this year and take themselves to Hawaii. And we succeeded. We swam with manta rays. We got to witness the eruption of the Kilauea volcano. We worked really hard. This really was a service and adventure trip. And we served in the hot sun, in the volcanic earth of the Hawaiian Islands, multiple days helping to construct a yoga platform and temple area and building out a garden space. There was just a lot of dynamic energy and willpower that went into it. And inside the house, during all of those moments of outward service, there was always a team in the kitchen helping prepare delicious food and take out snacks and really just nourish and take care of one another. We also had lots of laughter in all of the road trips and car rides around the island. And I think throughout all of it, one of the things that really stands out to me is in all these moments of connection and personal successes and effortful engagement, what really started to build was a quality of friendship and connection. And I think and I hope as you guys look around at each other, both in the classroom and in the gym and outside of school and in all the ways that you connect, really hope that you feel a sense of camaraderie and connection with each other, because that's something that will help carry you through all of the days and the years to come, whether you're at Living Wisdom High School or you've moved on to your next journey. You always have the friends and the family here at Living Wisdom to return to and to lean on, and also to support in your own way. So in all of these ways and so many more, we've had an incredible year. Our end-of-year ceremony, the quality ceremony, is a beautiful reflection of what, as I was saying before, what transpires behind the external activity, what's born, what are the fruits that are born of how we engage with life. And what you're going to hear now is student after student coming up and reflecting on qualities that they're being honored for. We take time as a whole team, and I know those of you who come to these each year, you know what this is about, but every student reflects on all the other students, every teacher reflects on all of the students, and we write down qualities that we've seen blossoming in their personality and through their character. And first we read to each person, to Mason and to Ethan and to Luca and to every single person, all of the qualities that have been seen in them by their community. And then we distill down to one that we feel has really been kind of the crowning jewel of the year, where they've grown the most, what they've expressed most fully, or what's maybe most meaningful and a really valuable tool to keep in their toolkit as they continue on with life. And then we ask students to reflect on those qualities, to think about why they're important, how they manifest in their own lives, and in the people around them. And then they write and prepare to share with you. So for the next part of the ceremony, you get to listen to their reflections. We hope you enjoy.
All right, we will begin with Alex Zavreb-Brennikov. Excuse me for butchering your name. This year, Alec, Living Wisdom High School honors you for your expression of enthusiasm. Mike, why don't you pull the mic up a little bit?
Enthusiasm as a quality may feel a bit childish to you. For me, it makes me think of kids running around in a playground. But throughout the year, it has helped me mightily. If I have enthusiasm for something, not only is it more fun for myself, it draws people into that enjoyment as well. In honors math this year, we met twice every week and went over simple and mundane proofs and procedures. But one day, I was thrilled by a calculus proof I saw and asked to learn it in class. Hazi agreed, and my enthusiasm infused Krish with fresh mathematical fury. Together, we fought our way through calculus and trigonometry proofs, laying waste to the Norwegians of mystification, raising their defenses of inscrutability, until together we conquered. At the end of the school year, we presented the proofs to Hazi and won the battle against mundane and lame math periods. Enthusiasm can also be less obvious. Enthusiasm is a very outward quality, but it can be brought inward and be kept inside of you instead. Instead of acting enthusiastic outwardly, you can feel enthusiastic in your heart. This makes every musical activity exciting and every minute action riveting. Thank you.
All right, Kanha Agrawal. Kanha, this year, Living Wisdom High School honors you for the expression of receptivity.
Thank you.
I think it looks fine.
There is a form of wisdom that exists at the heart of all learning, the understanding that all of us are unfinished. No person enters this world possessing complete knowledge, perfect judgment, or full understanding of themselves. We grow gradually, through the mistakes, through correction, and through reflection. But growth, it is only possible if we are willing to listen. For this that moment, I faced a choice. I could defend myself, justify that essay, protect my pride rather than confront my weakness. You see, pride often persuades us to preserve the image we have of ourselves rather than examine what is true. But instead, I chose to listen. I listened despite the discomfort. I listened despite the embarrassment. I listened despite the quiet collapse of the intellectual identity I had built around myself. And because I listened, I changed. I changed not only as a student, but as a thinker and a writer. You see, meaningful analysis, it does not emerge from borrowed ideas or inflated language. It emerges from sincerity. True understanding is not measured by how sophisticated we sound, but how willing we are to pursue the real truth. That experience taught me that genuine learning requires humility. To grow intellectually, we first must accept that our current understanding is yet incomplete. And this lesson, it extends far beyond academics. Because I listened to my teacher's criticism instead of rejecting it, my entire approach to learning itself began to change. Before, I asked myself, how can I sound more impressive? Afterward, I began asking, how can I see this honestly? Before, I treated education as a performance. Afterward, I began seeing it as a transformation. That shift within me, it changed everything. You see, education itself depends on receptivity. Teachers can offer guidance, correction, and wisdom, but none of that matters if the student is unwilling to receive it. A closed mind, it may protect your pride for a moment, but it also stunts your growth. A receptive mind, yes, it may wound your ego, but it expands your understanding. There are several ways people can cultivate this quality of receptivity within their everyday lives. First, we must learn to accept criticism calmly rather than defensively. Feedback is not an attack upon our work. It's an opportunity for refinement. Second, we must have the humility to ask questions when we do not understand. Pretending to understand may preserve our pride temporarily, but it prevents learning to happen. And finally, we must learn to see mistakes differently. Every mistake shows an area where growth still remains possible. Every weakness honestly confronted becomes an opportunity for transformation to occur. Ultimately, my experience with the Frankenstein essay taught me that growth only becomes possible when we are willing to listen. Receptivity opens the door to wisdom, transformation, and deeper self-awareness. Again, receptivity is not a weakness. It is the discipline of allowing truth to matter more than pride. It is the courage to remain teachable even when correction is unfavorable. And without it, no meaningful growth can truly occur. So I urge you today, be receptive and experience growth. Thank you.
Hannah.
Thank you.
All right, Luca Koval. Luca, this year Living Wisdom honors you for your expression of clarity.
Thank you, Keshava. Our English class this year began with the story, The Lady or the Tiger, which ends with a man forced to choose between two doors, one with a lady he would have to marry, and the other with a hungry tiger. He doesn't know which the two are behind, but his lover in the audience does. And she signals him rest of the year, every time someone said something unrealistic, he reminded me to say, "That's not how it works." When I wrote my final essay last semester, I was clear about what I wanted to say and how. I rejected some of Ozzy's recommendations because it was clear to me that I had a better idea. He was very impressed, and he used my essay as a model of a strong and clear essay for the class. Another expression of clarity is being straightforward. Being straightforward is helpful because you don't mess around and waste time. Recently, I gave the obvious answer to a question from the teacher when no one was answering. Because of my answer, I helped the lecture move forward and develop. Clarity is seeing things as they actually are. It's relating to reality so we can respond appropriately. During our Hawaii trip, we met a man named Nara, a paramedic from Australia. He shared stories about his adventures trying to save people. His main point was that we need to acknowledge our emotions, but only accept those that are helpful in the moment. If not for his clarity, he would have accepted emotions like anxiety and fear, and he would fail to help save lives. His story inspires me to want to develop more clarity over the next few years. Thank you.
All right, Mason Ang. Mason Living Wisdom High School honors you for the quality of steadfastness.
Thank you, Bud. Some meanings for steadfast are unwavering, fixed in place, or staying loyal and dedicated over a long period of time. After taking some time to reflect on this quality, I can see that I have, in fact, practiced steadfastness throughout the year. For example, when we were deciding where to go for our spring service trip, I asked Kashama if Hawaii was an option. She said she was not quite sure. However, as the year went on, I kept asking her with increasing frequency about this idea. Through persistence, she opened up to the idea and began exploring its potential. As things turned out, we did get the chance to go to Hawaii, and it was steadfastness that helped our community to create a memorable experience. I've been spending time building muscle in the gym and also mental muscle in classes like biology. Not being my favorite subject, it was a class I had to work even harder in to see results and growing success. At the beginning of the year, my grades were not the greatest, and I were not focused on them. Towards the middle of the year, I started to pay more attention to this subject, and there have been many times where I saw big improvements in my performance. A final example of showing steadfastness was when we were hiking up from snorkeling at the Captain Cook Monument this spring in Hawaii. I was at the back of the group when we started our hike out, and I decided to go at a faster pace to head to the front of the group. I put one foot in front of the other, steadfastly carrying myself forward until we reached the cars and a shady place to rest. Steadfastness is a valuable quality to me because when I apply it, it helps me reach towards my goals. Steadfastness has been the key to some of my success thus far, and is a quality I can apply to focus my energy where I choose. I think this was a good quality for me, and I'm grateful that the teachers noticed something in me that I did not notice at first. Thank you.
Ethan Young. Ethan, this year, Living Wisdom honors you for your expression of confidence.
Last year, I received the quality of bravery, and that really sat with me. I was unsure whether I reflected that in some cases, but I decided to embrace it anyway. At the end of the speech last year, I stated, "Next year, I hope to further improve in every subject and let myself live to my full potential." And here I am, a year later. Although I might not have lived to my fullest potential, I set a rather high bar and got extremely close to it. This year, I received the quality of confidence, the belief in oneself, which, in my eyes, is a more refined version of bravery. They don't mean the same thing, but they do have similar sub-qualities. This year in particular, classes started to catch my attention, becoming more intriguing. I had a change of heart on how I viewed school. Instead of seeing it from the perspective of a burden or requirement, I saw it as an opportunity to change the way I viewed things. It is also a rare opportunity to be in the school, which further incentivized me to get the most out of it. I started to rethink how I thought, allowing these changes to take place. I started to get more comfortable in the school environment, and I began expressing and contributing my thoughts and opinions in class as I began to trust myself more. This allowed me to contribute much more over these months compared to last year, where I remember contributing little to none. At first, it wasn't something I was remotely aware of. It's crazy to think that my teachers and peers noticed this change before I did. At the end of some classes, they would compliment me on things how my focus was on point, or how I contributed a decent amount. I'm really proud of myself of how far I've come this year, and if I want to continue living myself to my fullest potential, I need to break it down in steps. First, starting with doing the best of my ability to expand and grow in every aspect of life, which I've done my best to do. The most suitable thing to do next year is to continue growing as much as possible, having an open mind. I will continue to move through next school year and life with a positive attitude. Confidence is the belief in yourself, not because you're perfect, but because you're growing. And that's the path I'm choosing to take. Thank you.
Lucia Koftanov. Oh. It's okay, just come up. Lucia, Living Wisdom High School honors you for your expression of cheerfulness.
This year, I am being honored for my ability to choose positivity in the situations I face, to remain cheerful, even when put in the conditions that make an attitude of negativity and grumpiness seem an easier path. Whether it is riding my motorbike, spending time at the ranch, or simply exploring nature, it is nearly impossible for me to be unhappy when doing the things I enjoy. This made me wonder, how could I utilize this enriching quality to elevate and uplift the other areas of my life? Since I didn't always have the skill to apply that outlook to the hard things, such as academics, that is where my growth started. I made the choice to look at the time spent in classes, especially those which are hardest for me, like world religions and math, with the same light attitude I had with the more enjoyable things. I realized it was up to me to optimize the class time to my own benefit, to make the best of life. After all, I had to be in this class. I might as well learn to enjoy it. After practicing this, I slowly started to become more and more cheerful in the things I would usually be glum doing, which enabled me to put my full focus on the topic and understand it better. As time went on, I noticed that others would become uplifted simply by seeing the way I approached difficult, seemingly unenjoyable situations. On the return hike from the Captain Cook Memorial in Hawaii, due to their physical ability, a few students trudged up the steep incline at a slower pace than the others. Me being one of them, I pointed out that since we were the slower group, we had more time to observe the surrounding wildlife and scenery, to enjoy the hike back up, not just stare at our feet waiting for the hill to end. Throughout life, it is inevitable that there will always be uncontrollable hardships caused by external situations. We hold the power to choose what attitude to face them with. I have known cheerfulness to uplift my life, make it pleasant, and illuminate the abundant opportunities for adventure. So for that, I choose to be cheerful.
All right, Krish. Krish Chetty. All right, Krish. This year, Living Wisdom High School honors you for your expression of aspiration.
Over this past school year, I have learned about the importance of aspiration. Aspiration means having a dream for the future and putting in the effort to achieve it. This year, I aspired to improve my grades compared to last year. One way I improved my grades was through time management. Last year, I procrastinated studying and doing schoolwork. I would wait until the night before or often not do it at all. Now I make an effort to stay more organized and use my time more efficiently. By taking better advantage of work periods during school, I was able to complete my homework in school and have more free time and less stress. As the year went on, I began to choose academic challenges that were more interesting than the required material, like presenting a couple of college-level proofs for math class and a biology presentation on viruses. One of my other aspirations was to spend more time doing productive activities I enjoy, like trips in nature and powerlifting. While in Hawaii, one of our adventures was hiking down to snorkel at Captain Cook Bay. We woke up early around 4:30 a.m. to reach the bay before anyone else. While snorkeling, I stepped on a sea urchin, and on the hike back up, in the tropical heat, I had to carry a lot back to the car. But during this whole experience, I still had a great time. The quality of aspiration has helped me enjoy this year more, from raising my grades to enjoying hard opportunities, and I hope it will help me throughout my whole life. Thank you.
Nikolaj Bespamjatnov. Nico, Living Wisdom High School honors your expression of vitality.
Thank you, Ozzy. I've lived 16 years on this earth. I thought I had learned a lot, yet I keep getting surprised. This year, our school traveled to Hawaii. I have been on the Big Island multiple times, but nevertheless, this trip gave me great realization. Once I saw the volcano erupt, I felt something change inside me. The power of the earth emerging beneath me, I was honored to experience such a wonder. As night fell, the flame, rumble, and spouting lava looked like an opening to the depths of Tartarus. A tremendous energy rushed through me and gave me intense hope. In fact, I was so filled with energy that I ran all the way to the volcano. Never have I seen such resilience from myself, yet that's what I wanted to do. The first time in my life, I wanted to run. It did not feel voluntary. It felt like an inner force inside me was compelling me to run. This burst of energy was unusual, powerful, yet calming, something that I've never seen in my life. It got me thinking about the power of vitality. Vitality is neither good nor bad. It's a power that needs to be directed. Uncontrolled vitality would lead to a chaotic life. Controlled vitality would lead to a great, balanced, adventurous life. Energy can get you through anything and keep us moving when everything around us is holding us back. If everyone in the world harnessed their own energy, humankind would be able to reach their full potential. Without it, humankind would be limited by its own lack of effort. This understanding of its own lack of effort.
What's that? Yeah. Okay, congratulations.
Ada Weingrad. Ada, this year Living Wisdom honors you for your expression of friendship. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
What an honor it is to see your friends grow. Hari, you looked 8 years old as a freshman. This year, TSA was confident enough that you were an adult that they groped you without asking for permission from a guardian. It was probably the beard. As a freshman, you wrote that you were intimidated by the big, oily men in the gym. Hari, you have become that man. You are a mentor and a role model to your classmates. Your competitive spirit encourages me to try harder. I look up to your humility. I admire your maturity. You are friends with everyone, no matter their age or difference in views. I admire your confidence. You're always the one to go and talk to the stranger on my and Alice's behalf. Alice, a year ago, I was completely mystified by your work ethic. How do you work for so hard and for so long? I thought that you were a little bit magical. It seems to involve a lot of concentration, caffeine, and a loss of sleep. Alice, please get more sleep. I admire your grace and dignity, your will and concentration, your artistic vision. Ari and I figured out that if we paired up with you for photography class, we were suddenly getting A's. You notice beauty in the world and have opened my eyes to it, and I still think you're a little bit magical. My greatest pleasure this year has been to see my friends grow, to struggle alongside them, to laugh with them, to see them succeed. Seeing someone work for a goal for months or years, putting in the hours every day, wondering if it would be enough, missing sleep, guarding a small flame of hope, even when they weren't sure if success was possible, and then watching them reap the rewards of their work is one of the most selfless joys I've ever felt. When I succeed, I wonder if I really earned it, and I have to make sure not to let it get to my head too much. When my friends succeed, I simply hope that they know that they earned it, that they realize how wonderful they are. This is why I photograph my friends above everything else in the world. I hope that they might, for a moment, see how beautiful they are. Hardship is more bearable with a friend by your side, whereas life is almost unbearable without one. On a warm hike in Hawaii, I discovered something strange. When helping my classmate up the hill by pushing him, it was easier than when he didn't need help and walked ahead. Even though the effort was greater, knowing that my discomfort was for someone else's comfort meant I felt stronger and my mind calmer. To the Froshies, you are the next generation of Living Wisdom creatines. Thou wouldst be great. Art thou without ambition? Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 5. The sophomore class. From eating live fish in Hawaii to growing in leadership, it's been wonderful to get to share this year with you. To my very own junior class. Never mind, we don't have time. To the graduating class, I will miss you all. My friends, what will become of us over the next year? What will these graduates do in the world? I hope they are brave. I hope they do what they know is right, even when the path is steep and lonely. I hope they make new friends who appreciate and love them as much as we do. At this school, I've been blessed to have friends who put my good above their own. I used to wonder if I would do the same, if I would be as selfless as they. Now, I see that if I concentrate on the needs of myself, that's all I'm stuck with, myself. If I concentrate on the needs of my friends, I end up stuck with my friends.
Annika Madsen. Annika, Living Wisdom High School honors you for the expression of resilience.
This year, I took my physical health in my hands and was inspired to do cardio training. I learned to push my body when my legs and lungs burned. And through this training, I learned that the mind can be stronger than the body. It takes willpower to continue to push yourself, despite the pain you're in. And I'd like to give myself a pat on the back for the effort I'm putting into developing my physical health. As a junior, you face a lot of stress throughout the year. Grades, college, jobs, getting a license, people expecting you to know what the next 5 years of your life will look like. It's a lot. Yet despite how I felt about life, I did my best to come to school with an energetic attitude. Be it to help my friends with their work, to listen to their struggles, I did my best to make sure the people closest to me felt loved and cared for. Recently, in Hawaii, I pushed myself further out of my comfort zone. It was a very expansive trip, being without my own personal space, direct contact to parents, on an isolated part of the island and interacting with the same group of people every day. But it helped me channel my boredom into something useful, service. I sought out work, helped where it was needed, even if I didn't feel so great that day. Usually, when it comes to hard labor, I'm like a delicate flower. I wilt quickly in the sun, and I'm left with a headache for the rest of the day. But on this trip, I managed to push myself to spend one of our service days outside with everyone. It wasn't so bad. The heat and the moisture didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. Perhaps it's because I got used to the humid weather. Maybe it was the need to take my mind off of things. Or maybe it's the 2 cups of coffee I drank beforehand. Whatever the driving force was, I was proud of myself at the end of the day. Resilience is not about never failing. It's about getting back up every time you do, to acknowledge your mistake and not wave it off, but to do better next time. That is the essence of resilience. That is what I'm striving toward. Thank you.
Anya Siramale. Anya, this year Living Wisdom High School honors you for your quality of sweetness.
Sweetness is like a fragrance of a flower. It blossoms from sincerity and courage and spreads the gentle fragrance of love wherever it's blown. When Shama first shared this idea, I realized that sweetness was much more than simply being nice. True sweetness comes from the way we dedicate our time to others around us, the devotion we put in supporting each other, and the strength and courage it takes to show kindness to myself during difficult times. Throughout my junior year, I've learned that even the smallest acts of kindness can leave an impact on those around me. One experience that reminded me of sweetness was during our Hawaii trip, while Annika and I shared a room. During the first night, she wasn't able to sleep because of the obnoxiously loud frog noises. The next evening, she asked if we could leave the bedroom light on because it would help her sleep more comfortably. I said yes. The next morning, I could immediately tell that Annika slept much better. She had so much more energy. Seeing the difference in such a small act made me realize how meaningful little acts of kindness can be. It showed me that simple actions can make others feel cared and supported for. Since I was young, I've dedicated some of my time to making birthday cards for family and friends. I've enjoyed the creative process and art involved, but most of all, I wanted people to feel appreciated and celebrated on their day. You don't need big gestures to show someone you love them. It's the little things that show value and care. Junior year came with challenges and pressure, which sometimes made it easy to get frustrated or impatient. It definitely became more noticeable during finals week. I would get frustrated at myself for not being able to understand the material or the amount of time and energy I had to put for each test preparation. Negative thoughts would flood my head. You can't do this, you're just stupid. That's when I found the courage and strength to ask for help. I learned that asking for help isn't a sign of incapability, but an opportunity to succeed. I started working with Chandra and my dad to study for finals. It takes strength and courage to overcome challenges and kindness and patience with yourself. True sweetness comes from the way we treat ourselves with the same sweetness we offer to others. Looking back on my year, these experiences have taught me that even the smallest acts of sweetness can lead to a significant impact. I now understand that sweetness comes from the devotion we put into caring for others and ourselves. These lessons have helped me grow as a person, and they are values I will carry with me into my senior year and beyond. Thank you.
Hari Venkatachalam. Hari Living Wisdom High School honors you for the expression of truth-seeking.
When I first received this quality, I intended to speak about something entirely different from what I'm about to share. Something I won't speak about today. In a late and desperate attempt to discover a different focus for my speech, Hazy referred me to a memoir by Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. The book is a narration of the experiences of a Holocaust survivor who saw many horrific things during his time in concentration camps. Ultimately, Frankl describes experiencing a revelation from the universe where the existence of an ultimate purpose is revealed to be true despite the constant gloom and misery around him. Upon reading Frankl's words, I set aside my book and stopped to reflect. In the past, I had often wondered about the same sort of thing, but to little avail. Now, I thought about my own existence, that the life I have lived so far and the life that I will live henceforth is less than the blink of an eye on a cosmic scale. I wondered whether my own life could be at all meaningful if I were so insignificant. A chickadee hopped past me at this time, the same kind of bird that inspired my sophomore quality speech. This seemed to be a strange coincidence. I saw it comb the ground for various morsels, seeds, leaves, and other food items that had been carried by the wind. The bird then began to nibble at a piece of fruit. I wondered whether it had a preference for the strawberry it was now eating or the earlier foods. I wondered, was this bird a gastronomer? It certainly seems so. If fruit pleased the bird, it must have been meaningful to it. The bird must have had feelings. I thought about those who say that we are nothing more than biological machinery, that the chickadee and I are nothing more than bundles of fibers, and that what we feel is nothing more than the accidents of chemistry. I was baffled by this idea. At that moment, I didn't feel like a series of chemical reactions. That sort of thing seemed replicable. A scientist might be able to replicate the chemistry of my brain. But could a scientist replicate the exact emotions that I felt at that time? No, and I was unique because of this. I realized that the exact feelings I felt in that moment, or in any moment, were quite unlike those of anyone before or after me. All of a sudden, I became immensely special because I was totally individual. This idea was remarkable. I took a walk and mused a little bit more on what I had just discovered. It was tremendously important and meaningful to me to have realized what I had. The irony that this revelation was in direct relation to my quality is not lost on me. I hope equally that it is not lost on you all.
Kieran Tapaskar. Kieran, this year Living Wisdom High School honors you for your quality of composure.
Junior year is supposed to be the toughest of high school, and it did not disappoint. This year has been like sailing through rough waters and stormy weather. I had two choices: panic and sink, or remain calm and try to navigate a course of safety. This year, I learned to remain strong in myself and not let outside events affect me, no matter their scale. Composure isn't about avoiding hard situations, but fighting through challenges with an even mind. An example of this for me was performing on stage. In my first guitar recital, I was happy when I was selected to be one of the last people to perform, because most of the other students had already left with their families. In my second performance, I was one of the first to perform, but I was determined to remain calm. I simply told myself that the worst that could happen was that I'd play the wrong chord, or we'd have to start over. There were so many more eyes on me watching as I played, and I actually did mess up on some chords, but it didn't matter because I didn't let it matter. I didn't fixate on the mistakes I made. I simply enjoyed the smiles on people's faces as I looked up. Composure didn't just stay on stage, it also shifted into my academics. I used to be anxious about the outcome of tests before they even started. In the past, I would agonize over the results, spending the last minutes of my test-taking time trying to calculate and guess if I had passed. How well I did. Did I do enough? But I've changed since then. I don't focus on the outcome as much anymore. I focus on what I know, answer those questions, then move on to what remains. I stay calm and collected, instead of letting my mind wander into distress. I do my best and move on. I realize now that composure isn't a quality built overnight, but takes time and adversity to develop. Junior year tested my abilities and pushed me to my limits, and it is because of those challenges and struggles that I learned how to stay composed instead of letting my fears drive me. Thank you.
Neil Sidimale. Neil Living Wisdom High School honors you for your expression of discipline.
It's Sunday night at 9 p.m. and I'm exhausted after work. I still have many chemistry videos that I need to finish by 11 p.m. My eyelids are heavy and all I want to do is sleep and deal with this tomorrow. As hard as it was, I decided to watch my remaining chemistry videos, jotting down notes frantically, trying to finish on time. What on earth made me do this? Was it a spur of motivation? No, it was discipline. Throughout the years, there were many moments like this when I found it hard to complete my work. My motivation was low, and I sometimes didn't even want to start my homework. Just beginning felt like a struggle. Yet I did the work and completed it on time thanks to discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even if it's hard, especially when it's inconvenient. I discovered this most clearly when I began my Intro to Business college course in January. There were huge reading assignments, far more than I was accustomed to. I felt overwhelmed by the sheer amount. It felt almost impossible to finish. But there was nothing I could do but start. Just read one chapter a day, I told myself. Weeks rolled by, a midterm came, a final. I hadn't missed any readings or quizzes, even though I thought I might fall behind. What pushed me through the stress and many hours of reading was discipline. This quality has helped me beyond the confines of my college course. I see discipline in my daily life. It shows up in the smallest decisions, choosing to study over relaxing, or getting out of bed to work out when I would rather sleep more. I'm sure we can all relate to that. At the end of the day, discipline isn't about being motivated. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is a habit. It's the habit of doing what needs to be done, no matter what. Thank you.
Thank you all for sharing so beautifully. Let's give them one more round of appreciation. I'm going to ask now for some people in the audience to stand up. So if you're here, please stand. Keshava, Hazi, Letty, Anna, Raman, Shravanti, Chandra, Natasha, Neha, Chidambar, Craig, and Aryavan. And if I spoke to you before the ceremony, you know what to do.
I think it's a surprise. It's an ambush. Oh.
There are many, many souls who help make life at Living Wisdom High School possible, and some of them are full-time faculty, some are part-time faculty, and some are volunteers who simply show up and support out of the goodness of their hearts and because they have so much heart for this kind of education. So again, if you were just named, please stand up. And let us just say thank you for all of your time and energy and love and support. Okay, we are going to start with the most important people in the room. So parents of these graduates, go ahead and please stand up. And let's just say a resounding congratulations to all of you. And graduates, go ahead and go down and connect with your families briefly. On behalf of your children, thank you for the love and the dedication that you've poured in morning and night and all the moments in between over all of these 17, 18, 19 years of life. And congratulations, it's as much their victory as it is yours in so many ways. So thank you for allowing them to be a part of Living Wisdom and us to be a part of their lives and yours over these last 3, 4, and in some cases many more years. Okay. And I'm going to call Mariana forward first. So some of Mariana's most notable big school adventures were traveling in Italy and trekking through Yosemite twice and the Grand Canyon. She was part of a team that did a rim-to-rim hike her sophomore year. Was it your sophomore year? I believe it was. They went all the way down and all the way back out in a single day. And there are a few others from that trek here in the room as well, I think. She's brought energy and resilience and curiosity into so many moments at school and an incredible insight, which she is sometimes shy to share, but when she does, it's deeply meaningful. She's a competitive gymnast and a National Merit Scholarship commended student. She's dedicated herself wholeheartedly to her interests while remaining deeply appreciative of the people who've supported her along the way. Mariana is known in our community for her sincerity, for her fabulous laughter, and for her bright spirit. When Mariana joined Living Wisdom as a sophomore, she quickly discovered a deep love of learning, and this is really what has shaped her vision for the future. As a passionate student of the sciences, she first was inspired in a sophomore anatomy and physiology class at Living Wisdom, and then she went on to take multiple college-level classes in chemistry and biology. She serves this year as a chemistry TA, and she also has pursued extensive medical experiences through programs and internships at Georgetown and Stanford. She plans to continue a pre-med track, majoring in chemistry at St. Olaf College in Minnesota. And today, Mariana, we honor you for your expression of passion, and you are graduating today with honors. Congratulations.
Today, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who made it possible for me to graduate here. Just in this past week, I've been told over and over by all of my friends, all my family, how proud they are of me and how much I've done, all the accomplishments. But it wouldn't feel right to take all of that without acknowledging all the people that brought me here, and that I wouldn't be able to be here without them. So I wanted to thank everyone who made it possible to be here, for me to be here today, sorry. So, to my dad, thank you for all of the countless hours that you've spent with me, working through my schoolwork, particularly math. I know I fought you so hard, but I'm really glad that you pulled me through, and it meant a lot to me. Thank you for always being a silent supporter throughout all of my years. Even if you didn't understand me, even if you didn't understand what was going on, you tried your best to let me know that you were there for me. I couldn't have asked for a better father. To my mom, you've given me unfathomable amounts of support. It hasn't always been easy, but the results are undeniable. Thank you for always being there when I ask, but more importantly, thank you for pushing me forward even when I resisted you. Oftentimes I couldn't see what I needed, and I have to say that you were right, and I did thank you later. I love you both very much. The quality that I was given this year was passion. I spent hours reflecting on this quality. I tried writing a speech about this over and over. I ended up drafting 6 speeches before this one, but I ended up scrapping those. And what I want to talk about today is, just briefly, Living Wisdom taught me to find my passion. And this has affected my life in a great many ways, but particularly before Living Wisdom, I thought I had lost my passion. And joining this school helped me to find it again. That meant a lot to me because I never thought I'd be able to find it again. But since then, I've been able to dedicate this passion to sciences like chemistry and biology. I've found a love for medicine, for reading and for writing, and for taking up these interests of mine without any fear of how well I'm doing at them, but for the love of what they are. These past 4 years of high school have been some of the most difficult years of my life, but I still wouldn't exchange them for anything. I am who I am today because of all my friends and my peers, and all my teachers and all my family. Thank you so much for being a part of my life. That's all.
Ada Koftanov. Ada approaches life with remarkable determination, day after day after day. She also brings curiosity and a deep love for adventure. She's a dedicated figure skater since she was very young, as you maybe saw in the slideshow. She spent years refining this craft. Her commitment to beauty and excellence also extends beyond the rink to ballet, to piano, and voice performance, where her countless hours of practice have brought many remarkable accomplishments across disciplines. Ada came to Living Wisdom in 8th grade. In fact, when I first met her, it was still during COVID, it was on a Zoom screen, and she looked like she was in about 5th. She announced to me that she was intending to come to the high school right away, so let's just skip over the 8th grade part and get right to it. But she went to the middle school anyway and had a very good year, and then came up to the high school after that. Her enthusiasm and loyalty to this school has remained strong all these 5 years. Whether learning about aviation or performing in venues like Carnegie Hall or exploring Italy twice during high school, or the American national parks, she brings wholehearted engagement to every opportunity. Through years of perseverance, discipline, and steady growth, she has developed into a young woman who balances responsibility with joy. We're excited to watch your continued growth and where you will go in the days ahead. We know you will have many adventures, and we trust that you will come back and report on them as well. Today, we're honoring you for your quality of maturity.
What do you think of when someone is described as mature? Personally, I think of someone who is looked up to by their peers and is trustworthy and can make appropriate decisions for the good of themselves as well as others. And while I feel that I'm pretty responsible and I can make decent decisions, I've never thought of myself as particularly mature. Rather, I tend to think of myself as rather childlike. However, when I asked my mom about this, she laughed in my face. "Of course you're mature," she said. "You were born mature." Now, I didn't believe that. So, somewhat childishly, I went and sulked and procrastinated, wondering how on earth I could possibly talk about a quality I was sure I did not have. Well, I'm here to say that my original opinion has not changed. I can confidently say I am not mature. There's a saying that goes, ripeness comes with old age. I have definitely not reached the state of being a fully grown adult, nor am I anywhere near to having fully ripened fruit. However, that does not mean that I have no fruit at all. I came to realize that, although I may not be mature yet, I have many qualities that are mature after all. If I once was a seed, I probably still am a seed. But now I have roots, and my shoots have gotten taller and stronger, and maybe I have even sprouted a few leaves. I mean, I have 12 years of school under my belt, perhaps one leaf for each year. I've gone through a few sports and become an accomplished dancer and skater. I've gone through a few instruments and still carry some with me, most notably my voice, with which I sing my way through difficult experiences and challenging times. Imagine, once upon a time, I danced in a kilt to live bagpipes and drummers. I soon traded the kilt for a tutu, and from a budding baby ballerina, I made it all the way to point shoes and prestigious competitions with the only Royal Academy of Dance ballet school in the entire Bay Area. And as a skater, I became a statistical outlier, landing jumps at an age significantly older than expected, jumps no one thought I would land, and competing at a level far higher than was ever expected of me. Between rehearsals and recitals and practice and training, I have definitely learned how to stick to things. Repetition, lots and lots and lots of it. Practice and repeat. Fall down for hours on end till I start to land on my feet. Stick-to-itiveness has to be a mature quality I already possess. That determination has taken me through injuries and layoffs, from minor sprains to torn ligaments and broken bones, some that I didn't even know I'd had. But I kept going. That strength and resolve to carry on, despite pain, difficulty, and uncertainty, has to be a mature quality. And I know getting a driver's license is a teenage rite of passage on its own, but you all must realize driving daily on the California freeways has to count for something on the path to maturity. I mean, Highway 101? Anybody? And not only do I drive the highways for myself, but I've begun to make personal sacrifices to help others around me, most notably by waking up at 5 a.m. to drive my sister to her morning powerlifting training, when in all honesty, I would much rather be in bed. And just how my sister doesn't spawn into the gym all on her own in the mornings, I didn't get to be where I am on my own either. In a way, everything that has come before has been through the amazing interweaving of good fortune of family, friends, teachers, and mentors. Even starting again from square one by moving over 2,000 miles from Canada at only 9 years old, like the circle of life, although some of my roots were loosened, good friends, family, and teachers, I made new roots. I found new friends, and found many new and amazing teachers. I have a lot to be grateful for. I definitely don't have all the answers yet. Maybe I don't have any. But if there is one thing me and my strawberry shortcake suitcase from toddlerhood know, life is an adventure, and if there's something new around the bend, bring it on. I think that was what my mom said when she insisted I was born mature. And with all the physical tortures I put myself through daily on the path to becoming this great big, grand, and glorious tree with the most beautiful fruit, I've had to take a minute and learn a bit of self-care, and then practice it, all the time, not just when I feel like it. That is hard to do too. Maybe harder than throwing myself around on the ice all day or struggling through logarithms or probability in math class with Hazi. Sometimes, a growing young adult has to pause, or take a walk, watch a sunset, or get some sleep. It's maturity in the making. It's true. I have many failings, and perhaps I've angrily stormed out of a conversation and slammed the door a few too many times in the recent months. Surely that is not the sign of a mature young woman. The dichotomy I embody reminds me that I'm human, and after all, I am a young adult human, maybe not yet quite mature, but with many mature qualities, and a breadth of life experience that, like a fine wine or delicious cheese, is sure to get better with age. Some things break, some things bend, some things get stronger, even if it comes with a creaking knee and a cracky shoulder. And as I step into what life has in store for me going forward, as I add branches and leaves and blossoms and fruits to the tree of my life, I am confident that I will be able to handle life's challenges with ever-growing grace, ease, and yes, maturity.
Congratulations, Ada.
Congratulations, Ada. Well done.
Shreya Tiwari. Shreya came to Living Wisdom at the beginning of middle school. Her high school journey has been one of courage and growth and self-discovery. Shreya is a gifted vocalist, and she's been a core member in our choir program. She's performed here in Palo Alto and throughout California and several other states, as well as on a tour through India last year with the school. Music seems to awaken a deep devotion in Shreya, and her inspiration and connection with spirit has been a defining experience during her high school years. Shreya's love for music is also matched by a growing passion for visual storytelling through photography, where she has learned this year to express herself through this new artistic medium, and through literature and writing, which she adores deeply. Beyond the arts, Shreya has embraced athletics, teaching, and service. She's been a passionate volleyball player and a student of karate. She is a writer with a wonderful voice, an aftercare teacher for our younger students, and this year she is training in the Education for Life teacher training program. Along the way, she's learned not only to challenge herself, but also to trust and accept herself. Her growing sincerity, her kindness, and her willingness to meet life honestly have helped her develop confidence and resilience across the years. Shreya's warmth and her loyalty and her vivacity in our community are things that keep us all open-heartedly responding to her as well. We're very proud of the young woman she is becoming. Shreya has accepted admission to UC Santa Cruz. We honor her quality of sincerity, and we are wishing her every success and happiness in her continued journey.
Does this sentence seem okay? I ask myself again and again as I scan my English essay for clarity. My eyes drifting across the words written on the glowing screen grow tired and weary with the passing hours. I sit there until it is 1 a.m., until the fog in my brain has overcome me. I shut my computer and go to sleep. For many years, especially throughout high school, this has been my writing process. The constant need for perfection, doubting and second-guessing myself. These tendencies have made me abhor and dread the very art I once enjoyed. No matter what I wrote, I knew that there was a better way to express it, and my pursuit for the right words took up too much time and energy. By the time I did seem to find them, I was so drained that I felt unsatisfied. Part of the problem may be that I approach English in the same way that I approach mathematics. In math, there always awaits an answer in the ether, just waiting to be found. That doesn't mean I had an easy time finding those answers. But finding them felt easier than wandering aimlessly in the dark and moody world of English, not knowing what to find, if there even was anything to be found. Much of high school has felt like a search for the right answer. The right dreams to pursue, the right decisions to make, the right words to describe it all, the right ribbon to tie up a perfect little bow onto a perfectly wrapped present and show everyone that I was doing perfectly well. But my life isn't like that. And maybe life isn't like that. I'm not perfect. I don't even know how to properly wrap a gift. In an ocean of dreams and desires, I fail to choose the perfect one. But I can be honest about who I am and what I don't know and what I hope to be. I tend to think that my fears come from deep within me, that they are who I really am. But in reality, they aren't. In special moments during my time here, sitting at Dakshineshwar in front of Ma Kali, or beholding Pele erupting at Kilauea, I felt rising from deep within me a blissful peace and overwhelming love that brings me to tears. It is in those moments that I am most sincere. That is who I am from deep within. I'm beginning to believe that if I can be more sincere, if I decide to trust my intuition and edit later, that maybe I'll find out something about myself that I didn't know before. Something beautiful at its core, even if it might need refinement. Maybe something useful to others that I'd be happy to share. Recently, I realized that I want to spend more time speaking kindly with others, because that's what my ideals are. I hope I can learn to speak more kindly to myself. In my time here, I've learned so much and grown in ways I didn't think were possible. I feel grateful for being pushed, even when things were really difficult for me. I'm grateful for the joy that everyone has given me. I'm grateful that there are so many people who love me, ready to support me in any way that I need. I know that I wouldn't have the courage to face painful challenges if it weren't for all of you who encouraged me that I could. I've also received so many joyful, once-in-a-lifetime experiences that taught me that what is possible in my own self. Though I may feel scared of what's coming next, I've learned that joy and hope are the deeper parts of my story. Thank you.
Congratulations, Joe.
Alice Koval. Alice has been a student at Living Wisdom since second grade. When I first met her, she spoke no English, and I spoke no Russian. She taught me a few words, though I proved to be a far poorer student than she has, now fluent in English and many other things. Alice brings a thoughtful blend of creativity and discipline and curiosity to everything that she does. She's an athlete, she's an artist, an entrepreneur, and a student of the natural world and herself and everything in between. She has spent her high school years actively exploring a wide range of interests while steadily developing her talents and her character. She's drawn deeply from the teachers and experiences here at Living Wisdom, and I know she'll carry all of this, as will all of our graduates today, deep in their hearts to pull out and use at will when they need it. Alice has cultivated a passion for biology and ecology and film, while simultaneously pursuing explorations in photography and filmmaking and her own jewelry business. She's also an accomplished member of the powerlifting team. She trains 4 days a week, mornings and night, with many of her dear friends and teacher. She's also played volleyball and participated in karate and rock climbing. Oftentimes, similar to her friend Ada, we've had to pull her back because she just can't do everything all the time. Throughout these pursuits, she's demonstrated a deep appreciation for learning and for growth and for the influence of positive community. Alice understands that excellence is rarely built in isolation. It's nurtured through good habits, through strong friendships, through inspiring mentors and uplifting environments. Alice has come to cherish refinement and upliftment, and she's dedicated to cultivating an inner life of introspection and inner communion through prayer and meditation. Her beautiful spirit has left a lasting mark on our community. We honor her quality of virtue, and we celebrate her commitment to Loyola Marymount University. Alice is graduating today with high honors. Congratulations, Alice.
Sitting at the edge of the big island, watching the sun rise from the horizon between the sea and sky, I found myself, day after day, in wonder and awestruck by the grandeur of the world. During our Hawaii stay, I felt myself transformed by my environment. Each morning, I would wake up early, and the world felt still. I didn't have my phone as a distraction, nor any other activities besides journaling or reading. My thoughts were clear, my writing meaningful, my meditations deep. I had the support of other people who were focused on meditation and inner communion, which allowed for such focus to thrive. This way of life is what I yearn for, yet oftentimes my own will isn't enough. When I came home, I tried to continue the habits that were cultivated on the trip, but I realized that they were hard to keep up when others were not around. But I still have the memory of what my life could be. Surrounded by people whom I admire, full of joy and vitality, I felt joyful myself. I energized each morning and meditated for longer than I could on my own. The joy of others was stronger than my heavy thoughts. The greater magnet won, and I in turn was drawn into contentment. It is hard to be sad when others are full of life. They have so much enthusiasm that it becomes contagious. A positive environment is one of the most important things you can choose for yourself. With the right environment, life can be full of peace and joy. I want to be surrounded by uplifting friends, beautiful media, joy-bringing music. Because of the right environment, over the course of the week, my life drastically changed. felt content with my life once again. Contentment and virtue are more similar than one might realize. A definition of virtue is that which brings happiness. Not the fleeting happiness of temporary pleasures, but rather the enduring, true happiness of a life well lived. Virtue is not a single quality. It is a combination of qualities which allow us to cultivate a fulfilling life for yourself and others. My virtues did not arise from mere chance, but have been supported and encouraged by this school community, and especially by meditation. Living Wisdom School has guided me in meditation since 8 years of age, teaching me how to concentrate at will, which eventually I discovered gave me the power to live wisely. And in high school, I gained a clearer understanding of our school philosophy, creating a deeper connection and a desire to continue with this practice on my own. This community of people has encouraged my aspirations for virtue. Thank you to my parents for finding such a community and making it possible for me to stay in this environment as I have grown up. Thank you to my teachers for exemplifying virtue in many facets of your lives. By emulating your example, your devotion to excellence, my life has been transformed. By emulating your strength of will and determination, I accomplished academic success. By kindness and compassion, I formed lifelong friendships that I will deeply cherish. By even-mindedness and poise, I gained the power to make thoughtful decisions. From integrity, I discovered how to act in accordance with truth. Devotion gave me peace, honor, self-assurance. In the end, all these qualities brought me to one realization. They all lead to a state of being that transcends material happiness. It's the feeling of true joy. Dear classmates and friends, I hope you too will receive from your mentors. Now, as I graduate, I hope you too will build your own collection of virtues. I hope you will grow more and more into people who value noble qualities. And finally, thank you for the friendship we have shared over the years.
Very well done.
Okay, let's call forward the graduating class of 2026. Go ahead and take the first step. Anywhere you want to be. Let's go ahead and complete the turning of the tassel. Take it from right to left. I give you the class of Living Wisdom High School 2026. And families, go ahead and reach down in the aisle and gather up the roses that are there. Let's spread them throughout the room, and we will shower our graduates in a moment. And you may process out when you're ready.